Alright, while I was waiting for my phone to charge up, I was working on a piece of glass. But now the phone is charged, so I'm going to start on this other piece. This really cool looking Obsidian slash Dacite stuff from yesterday's video. I'm going to attempt to use these gloves today. I think they're the same that I've bought before, but I just want to make sure. Hold on. See, these have a name brand. You can buy these at the hardware store. Right? Hyper tough. Medium. I use medium. Hint, hint. No, it's not a hint. Well, I gotta save that. I'll forget what they're called and where I bought it if I don't keep that. Right, I think these are the same as this. Right? I think they're the same material. These are unbranded, but it looks like the same exact stuff. I like these, but I lost my left-handed one of this, and that's the one I use. So I bought another pair. I think this is the right type because it has rough grips, not the smooth grip. Like these kitchen gloves. These kitchen gloves work pretty good, and they're very similar, but this is not rough. On the kitchen gloves, it's just waterproof. This is rough. I like the roughness. These are okay, but the roughness allows me to grab the flakes better and stuff when I'm cleaning up. It also allows me to grab the tools a little bit faster. They're not slippery at all. Alright. Let me change my glasses here to a higher magnification. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Enough blah blah blah. Let's get into it. Let's make something fun out of this one. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like this. What can I make? I don't know. Let's see how it goes first. This is a 1/4 inch rod, by the way. What I'm excited about is it's very easy to knap. Now, it could be very crackly when I go to sharpen it, but I'm excited that it's easy to knap. I'm in no mood for difficult stuff because I'm in my Obsidian mode. Obsidian can be difficult, but not in ways that require lots of strength. It just requires lots of patience in most cases. You can hit it really hard, yeah, but the challenge is being gentle with it so it doesn't break. And at the same time get lots of bold flakes. Big flakes, those are the ones I like. I don't like a bunch of little flakes. Although someone reminded me the other day that I've always taught new guys to just whittle it down with small flakes when you're first starting. Better to whittle it down with small flakes than to venture into trying to do large flakes at first. You just will eventually get used to it, and you just work up from there. You can make larger flakes and longer flakes later. Why did he remind me of that? I think I was talking smack about these small flakes. How it takes forever to do them, if that's what you're going to do. It increases the time it takes for you to make something because they're just small flakes. I think I was talking smack about it because it doesn't make much sense to spend so much time making a stone point when you can make a bone point in less time. Stone is supposed to save you time. Yeah, it's sharp, but bone is not bad. It's not bad at all as an arrowhead material. It can be sharpened. It's not as sharp as stone, that's for sure. But as a projectile point, bone is very adequate. Yeah, very effective. And you won't lose a tip when you're walking through the forest and bang up against a tree. If you bang the bone tip up against a tree, it's not going to break off. Unless it's really hard, but it's much easier to break off a tip of one of these by accidental impact than it is to break a bone point. So yeah, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time on stone because it defeats the purpose. Or defeats the advantage, I mean. Unless you absolutely have to have sharpness, like for a butcher knife. But those can be protected from damage by putting them in a sheath or something. You normally don't put your projectile points in a sheath. Yeah, but you can butcher with bone too, you know? Yeah, I know. Especially in colder weather, when the meat's nice and firm and almost frozen. You can slice meat that has been dried and or cooled to a certain extent more easily than a fresh meat. Yeah, skinning knives, it's hard to skin with a bone knife. Yeah, hard to take the skin off or open it up. Open up the hide with a bone knife. Yeah. There are some bones from certain species of animal that are harder than others. So there are exceptions. I need to experiment more with pig bone and see how sharp that is, because every time I look into it, it seems like pig bone is very, very sharp. So there must be other animals that have very dense bones that can be sharpened really well. And I want to know what those are. What about peccaries. They're not pigs. Are those bones hard also? I don't know. I need to get some javelina bones or something. I had a chance to get some, but I missed it. I didn't think of it. Someone had shot some javelinas and they were sitting in a gut pile with remains from other animals from a hunting trip, and it didn't occur to me to snatch some bones out of the carcasses. It's okay though. I probably would not have gotten a chance to use the bones right away, and when that happens they go into storage, and then who knows how they change in storage. I bet you they do change when you store them. They'll degrade and decompose if they're not stored correctly. You know, if they got some meat still on them and the bacteria starts getting to it, or you don't split it and take the marrow out, eventually the fats will permeate the bone and then it'll start to go rancid. That sort of thing. Anyway, what are we going to make? What am I going to make? I want to make something really cool. It's such a weird material. Yeah, it does crush. It needs a robust edge. Surprise, surprise. It annoys me that I need to clear my throat so much. If I don't do videos, I actually don't talk all day. Yeah. I don't talk to anybody during the day. I start talking and the phlegm starts coming out. Drives me nuts. I'm going to thin this down, but it looks like the terminations are fussy. Once it starts getting down to the little fine detail, the terminations are kind of fussy. Yeah. Shows the flake scars really well, huh? Yeah, kinda. That can be good, that can be bad. Sometimes it's not good, because the mistakes show up. Okay. Let's see. Gotta be smart about this. I don't know. The way I tend to get better results is if I don't think about it. I need to drink water. Hold on. It's getting ridiculous. There's a block of ice in here. Yeah, it's baby water. Distilled water. Oh yeah. It made a big difference when I switched over to distilled water rather than, just regular purified water. Now I feel sick if I drink just regular filtered water. You don't want to know all that kind of detail. Too much information, dude. Yeah. Just do the napping. Okay. The thinner I get, the more options I have as far as the shape, the final shape. Because I just have to trim it and notch it. I can trim it any way I want and notch it any way I want as long as it's thin enough. I don't know if that's the way they always used to do it back in the day. I think they have different strategies back in the day. My strategy is, and this is what I tell most people that are learning, just as long as you get it thin enough, it doesn't have to be all that thin, but as long as you can get it thin enough to stop and you can shape it any way you want. Or start with a thin flake and don't even mess with the middle, just mess with the edges. A lot of new people have trouble with thin flakes because they'll snap it on their pad. The pad is flat or it's flexible. It starts out good when you first start flaking a flake, but if your pad is flexible and you're there pushing in the middle, it'll flex in the middle and snap your point right across the middle. I don't know how many times that happened to me before I said, nope, no more of those flat pads with flex in them. My pads cannot have any flex at all. Yeah, they're wood and they do flex theoretically, but it's small enough piece of wood that the pressure I'm applying to it, it's not going to flex it because it doesn't have much length to bend. Nope. It's all the dust from all the abrading and stuff, dude. It's getting to your lungs and your esophagus. No, your windpipe, dude. Maybe it's the dust. I need to quit napping. Just quit altogether. I did clean up my shop a little bit before I started, so there was a bunch of dust. But I stepped outside. I shook off the towel outside, like I always do. Tried to minimize the dust by shaking everything out outside and dumping. I have little buckets of flakes that I transfer to a bigger bucket. Sometimes I make the mistake and I do that inside the shop, and then I gotta leave the shop for a while until all that dust settles. Yeah, just dealing with dust takes time. And I'm gonna build a lodge soon. A little primitive lodge out back. And what about the dust in that? I've got to make sure I've got ventilation in that little lodge. Yeah. What kind of ventilation? Just, I can't seal it up tight like I want to. I was thinking, I got to make sure this is sealed up tight. No, I can't do it if I'm going to be napping in it. If I seal it up tight, the heat stays in, and I just need to build a little fire inside. But I can't do that because of the dust. Well, yeah, the smoke too from the fire, but I think that's less of a danger than the napping dust. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Smoke is hazardous, for sure. The way that I've always, not always, the way that I've seen, that I always go back to as far as heating a little primitive structure, I saw this technique when I was in Mexico, actually. Staying with a poor family. One of my ex-wife's relatives, they lived off grid, and the way they heated their house is they would build a fire outside their house, and then they would bring in big coals into a central hearth, and there was a little escape hole at the top of the ceiling. I'm pretty sure. Let me think about this. Yeah, but so they had a concrete or some kind of dirt floor. I think it was concrete floor slab, and then they had a hearth in the middle. Okay, and they would put the coals in there, so there wouldn't be any smoke. Just slow burning coals in the middle of the house, because it was. I think the house was like 3 rooms. I'm pretty sure they had something to vent. Either they had a window open right there in that room, or something on the ceiling. I can't remember. Anyway, what I thought was interesting is every now and then, one of the sons would shovel some ash, take a big shovel full of ash, walk out the door, and then come back with a shovel full of coals to keep the house warm. Small house, no more than 20 feet by 20 feet. So, moral of that story is that's how I would heat the lodge, with coals and not a direct fire. I'd build a fire outside and then bring in the coals, and then if I keep stones next to the fire outside, they'll heat up as long as it's the right kind of stone. And I can bring in some hot stones as well. Bring the cooled stones outside next to the fire, and bring the hot stones into the house, as well as the hot coals. Keep the little lodge warm that way. So I said, that's a pretty neat way of doing it. But, the house had that smoky smell the whole time. So, years and years of that kind of exposure is not good for you to the smoke, because even the coals will produce smoke. Not as much as a regular fire, but it does produce smoke. And you gotta have some sort of ventilation. Or you get the carbon monoxide. Yeah. I said, that's a good technique. I'm gonna make sure I keep that in the back of my head every time I think about how to heat up a lodge or a small house without a wood stove or without a fireplace. Just an open hearth in the middle of the floor. Where did they get the wood? It was all mesquite wood. Just from going down the road, they had a truck, of course. Everybody has a truck. Loaded up with mesquite. And you can cook on that fire in the middle of the room too, but they were not cooking on it. I can't remember what they were cooking with. They may have been cooking with natural gas, canisters. Anyways, they had an outhouse. I don't know where they were getting their water from. We didn't stay the whole day. Sometimes there's a community well. There's a bunch of houses in one little area, and in the middle of the area there's a well. They might have had well water. What about lights? I can't remember what they had for lights. I cannot remember. Seemed bright enough. Maybe they were not totally off-grid. Anyways. Anyways, they were indigenous, Indians. Just with the Spanish colonization, they adopted the Spanish language, got Spanish names, lost their tribal affiliation. All that stuff. But they still retain some of their old ways. I think we ate goat when we were there. Goat or sheep. Yeah. Alright, should I thin it more? I should not, but I kind of want to. Just because I can, but I would have to, make that tip more narrow. Okay. Yeah, this glove is working well, but I don't need it right now. Yeah, it was working really very well. Okay, that's what it's gonna do. Yeah, I got most of it. But yeah, it's gonna step fracture right there continuously, I bet. Because it's right there where I have trouble. It's a pattern until I can figure out how to break the pattern. I have trouble right there on that side. At that particular distance from the tip, proportionately. For some reason, I have a mental block that prevents me from successfully attacking that area. Okay. And I don't know. Picking at it makes it look worse. I'm trying to make it look better, but it looks the same as it was before, except it's thinner. It's supposed to look better as you thin it, but no. It's not termination friendly. No. No. Not like that. Yeah, like that. Someone once told me that I was pressure flaking in a weird way, and to this day I still haven't figured out what he meant. And I didn't get clarification at the time. Yeah. I don't know if I was holding it in a weird way or applying pressure on the edge in a weird way? Or what? Just isn't it? Yeah, you know, I'm doing it weird. I don't think weird is the word he used. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. Ah. Come on, even when the edge is thick and I think I got it, I don't got it. It's still crackly. No reason at all. That was thick right there, and I just didn't push on it. So I guess I am not doing it right. Better not push the issue because that's where I have trouble right there. If I run a flake in that area, I think I'm going to mess it up. It looked better before? Yeah, I know. But that's what you get when you try to improve it. Okay, I gotta start thinking what I'm gonna do with it, because I could mess with that edge all day. Yeah. As long as I don't get sick of it, I could mess with that edge all day, trying to figure out what the best way to do the edge is. So it's just a matter of, am I gonna get sick of doing it or not? Sometimes I I go for hours trying to figure something out before I get sick of it. I suppose that's normal. I'm not trying to do parallel flaking. I'm just trying to do thinning and not step fracturing, because you know the rest of it's got some nice terminations. There's not any issues, but then I get up here and I got these little crackly things going on. Someone wanted me to do Montels. This is not going to be a Montel. No. Let's see, what can I make out of it? Something that was made of obsidian. Montels were not made of obsidian, so there. I gotta look at the far west. Make another Humboldt. No. Make a Basal notched. I gotta take a bunch of the sides down if I do one of these. Shall we look at every page? How about a Hell's Canyon Basal? Because they've got, sometimes they got convex edges. I could do one like this with notches like that with a blade like this. Yeah. Except I gotta, well, note rare and unusually barbed notches. Barbs and notches, I don't know. They didn't put a correct grammar on that note. So let's just invent one. It's gonna be like this. I could take down the sides and constrict them like this. I could make this one. Or make this one. Similar to that. But it will look too much like an east gate. Make the gypsum cave. Yeah. That would be cool, right? No? It's not intricate enough. Eccentric forms, yeah. Make some something eccentric. Elko. Elko is always a good one to default. To do by default, yeah. I've already done a bunch of those though. See, here's the east gate. But see, east gates are small. The other one was large. Hell's Canyon, Basal notch. See, these are bigger. What year? How long ago was this? Development to historic. Okay, so they're at lateral dart points. Well, it depends on the width of the neck. See, that's very wide, so I would put that in the lateral dart point category and not the arrow category. But something that small might go in an arrow, but probably not. These look like arrow points, some of them, but still the neck is pretty wide, so they could be at little dart points. I don't know. I do like this weird notching going on. I'm just going to do that. Okay. You convinced me. Yeah. I'll do the weird notches. I blame it on other people because if I make a wrong decision, I don't want to be losing sleep over it tonight. Come on. Did I knock the tip off? I bet you a little bit I did. I dinged the tip slightly. Luckily I cleaned up back there and it didn't land on a flake and knock off the whole tip. Okay. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. So exploring this type of obsidian, I found that it's very crackly, but not too bad. Not too shabby. Nice pop out. Yeah, nice. Did it do it? Yes. But the terminations aren't like that great. As expected. People message me on Instagram. I just got an Instagram. Don't be messaging me during a video. It tells me that you're not watching the video. Why you're not watching the video? Because I haven't uploaded it yet. You should know that I'm working on a video. Yeah. You should know me by now. No, I don't always post videos Sunday night, I don't think. I don't know what I'm doing working on videos when I should be trying to produce as many points as possible for the auction. Well, that solves that problem. I took off some of the barb on that one. I was wondering what to do with that long barb. I was going, that barb's kind of long. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. Really? No, not really. Of course not. I like the long barb. It's frustrating. Goodness, it's crackly. That means it's getting dull. There's a burr developing on there. When there's no burr, I can pop off flakes nicely. What's a burr? I don't know. That's what I call it when it's starting to round over. And it produces a little curl on the edges or whatever. I don't know. I can't explain it. Why don't I ever do advanced notching? I don't know. I haven't really explored the notching thing. I think I'm dreading the day where I'm going to be having to do the vertical punch work on the notching. I've tried reverse indirect notching. I've tried horizontal indirect percussion notching, crunch notching like this. What else? Expanding notches, straight notches. I've made a beginner notching video. What else can I do? The only thing left is the vertical punch notching that I don't want to do. Why don't I want to do it? Because every time I do it, I end up impaling the pad, and I sit there like this. I look at the pad and the pressure flaker, and the pressure flaker sticking in the pad like that. How can I avoid the pressure flaker sticking in my pad like that? I gotta yank it out and do another attempt, and then I don't know. I don't know how you guys not pierce and impale your pads every time you do a pressure notch vertically. Am I using too much force? Is that it? I don't know. I can't seem to use less force. I use a lot of force when notching, because I can't see how it's done without a lot of force. You guys are not following through. Yeah, I know. That's got to be the reason you're not following through with the punch work. Somehow you're stopping it before it impales the pad. I have not explored what to do to stop the stabbing of the pad. Going by memory. It's okay. I like that. Maybe I should use indirect percussion. That way I can drive a long flake. No, I can drive a long flake without indirect percussion. Yeah, there it is. I did. It snuck in there and took that out. Can you see it? Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna match it on the other side. It is kind of crackly. Yeah. But I still like it. It's not as crackly or crushy as the other, what do you call it? Silver sheen? I think the other one I made out of this metallic looking stuff. It was slightly different, of course, but it was metallic looking silver sheen. It was also very crunchy. but more crunchy than this stuff. Yeah. If I remember correctly. Yeah. That's a big if. I'm supposed to have a very good memory of stuff that I'm interested in. Being all ADHD and all. You know what's up? Yeah, it's a bit crunchy. Yeah, unfortunately. I think also if it's the surface is not perfect, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna go uphill at all. No, with some material it'll go uphill a little bit. You know, and leave nice terminations and not be so steppy. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I'm trying to improve it and it doesn't want to improve. So I should just leave it. Keep what I got and consider myself lucky. Yeah, it's all crunchy. So yeah, it is similar to the other silver sheen stuff. But I like it a little bit better. On the other silver sheen, I put a lot of notches in. Right, on the other one I did for the auction. Sometimes this stuff sharpens up better if I put little bitty serrations. Yeah. It doesn't like a smooth edge. Sometimes. Well, this one doesn't. As far as sharpness goes, it's really very, very crunchy. Come on. It knows I don't like that powdery look on the edge. How do I know that it knows I don't like it? Because that's what it's trying to do. Whenever it's trying to do something really hard, like being all crunchy, I know that it knows what I like, so it does the opposite. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm doing now is just pushing on the dull spots. And trying to make it a little more constricted there above the barbs. Dang it. I'm not supposed to be creating dull spots by crunching it. But yeah, sometimes I create a dull spot by crunching the edge. If it gets dull and crunched enough, I can push through it, but it's not letting me. Nope. Okay. Trying to be too persnickety. So what I did, I just push almost straight down from the edge. What am I doing now? I don't know. I'm just trying to sharpen it. It looks dull all the way down. Yeah. I would like more of this material so I can get used to it. But it's pretty typical of Dacite to get crunchy when you try to do the little nitpickety sharpening. Did I say Dacite? Opaque obsidian. I don't know, that's close enough. Deepen the notches on the barbs a little bit more. I'm afraid to push too hard. I'm just going to kind of grind out the bottom of the notches a little bit. Make them a little deeper that way. If I put too much pressure on those barbs, they're goners. Alright. Ta-da! Ta-da! Close enough. Okay. I forgot the name of that one. Oh, we'll put it in the title. Yeah, I lost the place in the book. Anyways. Good enough. Eat some dinner and come back out and finish up all the points I'm going to put in the auction. Okay. You mean they're not going to do it on video? Well, no, I'm not going to sharpen. I got a bunch. The only one I'm going to set aside for another day is this one. All the other ones are going in the auction. Yeah, I got 3 long blades. I'm going to sharpen those off camera. And this one plus a bunch of, not a bunch, but 2 more. Okay, so there it is. It's hard to see the notching. Yeah, okay. I'll take a picture. Yeah, I think it worked out. That's it.